In Brisbane, the coalition rocket was go for launch.
We love our country.
Josh Frydenberg was delighted by the warm welcome.
Wow, I wish I got that reception in Kooyong. How's that?
Barnaby was being Barnaby.
Raving banshees, yelling and screaming.
And the PM made his final pitch to voters.
How good indeed.
Morrison delivered one last big policy swing, starting with downsizing your house.
We know that for many older Australians, there comes a time that 3 or 4 bedroom house, well, it's just a bit big. It's more than what you need.
Currently, Aussies 65 and over can contribute up to $300,000 from the proceeds of selling their home into their superannuation fund. That age limit is already set to drop to 60 on July 1. The coalition is now pledging to lower it even further to 55.
And we've got to start with freeing up more homes for people to be able to access.
What we're likely to see is people taking advantage of this who probably would have downsized anyway. It predominantly benefits richer households, people already with high wealth.
Scott Morrison just doesn't get it.
Anthony Albanese was also in Brisbane, talking up his own housing policy.
Help to Buy will assist Australians to buy a home with a smaller deposit, a smaller mortgage and smaller mortgage repayments.
But the PM had one more surprise up his sleeve, a new plan to let first home buyers put part of their super savings towards the deposit. It's limited to 40% of your total super savings, capped at $50,000, and you'll need to have already saved a 5% deposit to qualify.
And whatever amount is invested will be returned to your super when you sell the home, including the share of the capital gain.
You shouldn't have to raid your super to buy a home.
What they'll end up doing is paying a lot more for that first home. They'll end up in more debt and, of course, with less super when they retire.
So, will this help deliver Morrison the re-election he wants, or will he soon be downsizing out of the lodge?
We think these things through.
Well, joining us now is Liberal Senator Jane Hume, who has just got off a flight at Melbourne Airport. So thank you so much for joining us, Senator. Super is meant for retirement. Is it really responsible to be encouraging young Aussies to go for short-term gain when they could end up with long-term financial pain?
Well, actually, this isn't short-term gain for long-term pain, quite the opposite. In fact, one of the greatest indicators of economic security in retirement is whether you own your own home. Moreover, this policy allows you to take money out of superannuation now to help you buy that first home. But when you sell the home, you put the money back into superannuation plus any capital gains. Now, this is different from Anthony Albanese's policy because in his policy, the government owns your house, whereas in the Coalition's policy, you own your own home and you save money for your retirement.
But the whole point of super being locked away is that it's forced savings so that when people reach retirement, they're not relying on the public purse. And if young people are really desperate to get into the housing market and you're releasing this, that brings in a whole bunch of emotional complications that could mean that they don't have enough super at the end. So aren't you sort of kicking the problem down the road for a government in 40 years?
No, not at all. In fact, most people own their first home for somewhere between 8 and 11 years. And of course, when you sell your home, that money goes back into your superannuation plus the capital gain that you've made. Moreover, when you buy your first home, it creates a stability, it creates certainty and economic security during your working life, improves your quality of life during your working life. But because it goes back into super at the end, when you sell the home, you're also improving your standard of living, your economic security in your retired life as well.
Jane, I'm just wondering if this is actually a trap for young Australians, because on the one hand you're saying use this money now to buy your home, don't have that stashed away in your super, and then at the end you're saying, well, you can actually sell your house and put the money back into super, but that means that actually you have to sell your house if you want to retire in order to be able to have enough super to retire. This is a trap, isn't it?
No, quite the opposite, Hamish. In fact, you can already invest in an investment property from your superannuation. This just allows you to invest in your home, the first home that you own.
I do understand that, Senator, but obviously the implications for someone nearing retirement having to sell an investment property to live off is different to them having to sell their own home in order to be able to have enough super to retire. You can see the problem here for young Australians, can't you?
Actually, this is an opportunity for young Australians that I wish existed when I was saving up for my first home. Because not only can you put some of that savings, that's your savings, remember, $1.10 of everything you earn goes into superannuation. Not only is it your savings that you can then put into your home, because you've got more equity in your home, your principal and interest repayments are lower. So you've got more money in your pocket throughout your working life while you're living in that home, and then you put the money back into superannuation when you sell it at the end of, when you move into a bigger home,
Jane,
or when you downsize when you finish your working life.
Millions of Australians will be eligible for this. Will it put upward pressure on house prices?
Well, we expect around 100,000 or so Australians to buy their first home every year. And actually, even if they took out the maximum amount and they bought the median value of a home around $600,000, that's only a very small proportion, less than 1% of our $9.9 trillion property market. So no, we don't think it's going to put upward pressure on prices.
You don't think this will lead to higher house prices? Because that's the opposite of what economists seem to think. It might bring forward some of the decisions that people were making. It might bring forward some of the decisions that people were saving for a home are already making. People that have already got that 5% deposit together, once they can access their own superannuation savings as well, maybe they'll make that decision to get into a home sooner, so perhaps temporarily, but it should work out in the long run. It shouldn't put any extra pressure on prices. Well, but most importantly, we're going to see more Australians get the opportunity to enter the housing market for the first time.
OK, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But look, I know you've got somewhere to be, but before you do, I just would like to check. We showed earlier in the show opposition leader Anthony Albanese struggling to make small talk around birthdays. What's your go-to with small talk out there on the campaign trail? Do you have any advice?
Small talk? I'm actually pretty good at small talk. I can shoot the breeze with just about anybody.
OK, hit me. I've got a coffee around a table. What have you got for me? Lay it down.
Hey, nice looking tie you're wearing today. Where did that come from?
I missed out. The audience was laughing, but I assume it had something. I was just captivated by your jacket, and that was enough. Well done.
And the Senator in turn likes your tie.
Well, very nicely done. Oh, man, what beautiful small talk we just did.
Great small talk. OK, Senator Jane Hume, we'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time.
Great to be with you guys.